I'm a self-taught filmmaker. I never went to film school. I never studied filmmaking in any way. I started making films when I was a kid, when I was, I think, 7 years old. Making films using my dad's Super 8 camera and little action figures, doing stop motion films, a little bit of animation and a certain amount of live action. And I just carried on making films as I grew up. And over the years they got bigger, hopefully better, but more elaborate. And there never really was a period in my life where I completely stopped doing that. So I was always moving up eventually from Super 8 to 16mm films. And then I think what following represents is kind of the peak of what I was able to do on my own or just with friends, just using our own resources and borrowing equipment and sort of using the things around us to make a film.
I decided to go to film school because I loved the idea of making films. I love photography, and everybody said it was a crazy thing to do because in those days nobody made it into the film business. I mean, just unless you were related to somebody, there was no way in. So everything was silly. You're never going to get a job. But I wasn't moved by that. I set the goal of getting through film school, and just then focused on getting to that level because I didn't know where I was going to go after that. I wanted to make documentary films. And eventually I got into the goal of, once I got to school, of making a film. One of the most telling things about film schools, you got a lot of students in those days especially, it's not quite so much today, but wandering around saying, oh, I wish I could make a movie, I wish I could make a movie. You know, I can't get in this class, I can't get any, first class I had was an animation class, it wasn't a production class. I had a history class and an animation class, and in the animation class, they gave us 1 minute of film to put onto the animation camera, to operate it, to see how you could move left, move right, make it go up and down. And it was a test to see, and then the teacher you had certain requirements that you had to do. You had to make it go up and make it go down. And then the teacher would look at it and say, oh yes, you maneuvered this machine to do these things. And I took that 1 minute of film and made it into a movie. And it was a movie that won 20 or 25 awards, in every film festival in the world, and kind of changed the whole animation department. And meanwhile, all the other guys were going around saying, well, I wish I could make a movie, I wish I was in a production class. And so then I got into another class, and it wasn't really a production class, but I managed to get some film, and I made a movie. And I made lots of movies while I was in school.
I have young filmmakers come up to me and say, give me some advice for doing this. And I say, don't put limitations on yourself. Other people will do that for you. Don't do it to yourself. Don't bet against yourself, and take risks. NASA has this phrase that they like: failure is not an option. But failure has to be an option in art and in exploration, because it's a leap of faith. And no important endeavor that required innovation was done without risk. You have to be willing to take those risks. So that's the thought I would leave you with, is that in whatever you're doing, failure is an option, but fear is not.
I've always given the same advice. I think that the premium thing, the thing that is the most valuable thing, the thing we don't have enough of, is ideas and screenplays. So my recommendation is to always write. Not only do I believe that that's the most, like I said just now, is that that's the most valuable commodity in the industry, is to have a good screenplay. I think it's also what makes you into a good filmmaker. When I decide to make a film, I have to make it. I have that there's that drive inside of me, that passion, that dream that I have to realize the film, and I completely understand that.